If this episode makes you think, please let us know in the comments and support us by subscribing and leaving a review. Thank you. Today we are exploring the AI learning penalty. Students' homework scores rose by 18%, while their closed book examination scores fell by about 20%. That striking contrast comes from the research paper, The Generative AI Learning Penalty, Evidence from Chinese Secondary Education by David Strömberg, Victor Lei, and Yanhui Wu. The study follows 26,811 students across 9 secondary schools in central China, examining what happened as generative AI use grew from almost nothing in September 2022 to around 80% by June 2025. The paper asks a deceptively simple question. When AI helps a student complete schoolwork, has it also helped that student learn? In this study, quite often the answer appears to be no. Students using AI completed homework more successfully and much faster. Average completion time dropped from 64 minutes to 45 minutes. Yet their monthly examination performance moved in the opposite direction, falling gradually during the first 6 months after adoption. The authors describe this as an AI learning penalty, and they argue that the main cause was students outsourcing the intellectual work contained in homework. That distinction matters. Productivity and learning can look similar on a school dashboard. Both might produce completed assignments, higher marks, and fewer missing tasks. But productivity measures what got finished. Learning asks what changed inside the student. The evidence here is unusually rich. The researchers had 30 months of monthly closed book examination results, weekly homework scores, digital records showing when assignments were opened and submitted, county examination data, and results from Zhongkao and Gaokao. Zhongkao helps determine access to senior, secondary, and vocational routes. Gaokao is the principal university entrance examination in China, so this wasn't simply a snapshot of AI homework impact. The researchers could compare immediate task performance with later AI student performance in assessments where the technology wasn't available. Still, this was an observational study, not a randomized experiment. Students weren't assigned to use or avoid AI. David Strömberg, Victor Lei, and Yanhui Wu instead compared students who adopted it at different times with those who hadn't yet adopted it. Before adoption, the groups had very similar attainment, characteristics, and performance trends. The results also survived several alternative statistical tests and appeared in externally administered examinations. That makes the findings difficult to dismiss, but it doesn't make them universal. This is one county within a particular assessment culture. You're using general-purpose Chinese AI systems. Adoption dates were self-reported. Homework time meant the interval between opening and submitting an assignment, not a direct measurement of concentrated study. We should treat this as powerful evidence from one context, rather than a verdict on every use of generative AI education. What fascinated me was the relationship between time, homework marks, and examination results. Among students without AI, spending more time on homework generally predicted better homework and examination performance. For many AI users, that relationship broke apart. Students finishing in 20 to 50 minutes achieved exceptionally strong homework scores, but extremely weak examination scores. The researchers classify completion in under 50 minutes as behavior consistent with outsourcing. That's an inference, not direct observation of what students typed into an AI system. Even so, the pattern is hard to ignore. After more than 5 months of AI use, 81% met that threshold, while half completed work within the paper's stricter full outsourcing threshold of 45 minutes. Yet students who continued spending between 50 and 65 minutes on homework performed rather differently. Their homework scores improved, but their examination results remained similar to comparable non-users. That suggests the tool itself wasn't inevitably harmful. The penalty emerged when AI removed the effort through which learning normally happens. If you value evidence-led discussion about AI in education, follow or subscribe for more episodes like this one. Think about a Year 8 geography lesson on coastal erosion. A student could ask AI to produce a polished explanation of how a C stack forms. The answer might be accurate, fluent, and submitted in minutes, but the intellectual work could belong almost entirely to the machine. Alternatively, the student might create their own explanation, ask AI to challenge it, compare two competing accounts, identify an error, and then defend a revised model aloud. Both students used AI. Only one was required to think through the geography. The real value is not in what the machine produces, but in how the student responds. This is also a measurement problem for teachers and leaders. Once AI becomes widely available, homework scores may no longer be reliable evidence of knowledge, effort, or progress. In this paper, improved homework performance could actively conceal declining understanding. A parent portal might look reassuring at precisely the moment concern is warranted. That doesn't mean abandoning homework or filling every week with closed-book tests. It means using a broader picture of learning. I'd want to see the product, the process, and the student's live performance. Can they explain a choice, apply the idea in an unfamiliar setting, respond when one condition changes? Their AI interaction record might also reveal whether the system questioned their reasoning or simply supplied the answer. The subject differences deserve attention too. The largest losses appeared in social sciences, averaging 27%, with politics and geography particularly affected. Chinese showed a smaller decline of around 9%. High-attaining students experienced greater losses than lower-attaining students. AI compressed the attainment distribution, but not by lifting weaker learners. It pulled stronger students down more sharply. My reading is that confident students may have had more complex intellectual work available to outsource. If you're already capable of writing a strong analysis, AI can save you substantial effort. Unfortunately, that effort may be exactly what maintains and extends your expertise. Capability creates temptation. Younger students were more vulnerable as well. Lower secondary students experienced a 24% decline, compared with 17% among older students. That should shape school policy. A single AI policy covering every age group may look tidy, but a 12-year-old developing study habits and an 18-year-old preparing for university don't have the same capacity for self-regulation. The long-term findings are especially sobering. Across all adopters, estimated Zhongkao and Gaokao results were 5 to 7% lower. Among students who had used AI for at least 2 years, the estimated losses reached 24% for Zhongkao and 18% for Gaokao. Those estimates rely on smaller samples and should be handled carefully, but they raise an important issue. Short pilots may capture the convenience immediately while missing the cumulative cost. For school leaders, measuring success through adoption rates or time saved would be a serious mistake. Ask whether students retain more and explain more clearly and transfer knowledge more effectively. For governments, the warning is similar. Buying licenses is easier than redesigning curriculum, assessment, and teacher development. Procurement can happen in months. Building healthy AI study habits takes sustained work. I don't think the paper supports banning AI. It supports being far more precise about the behavior we're designing for. General-purpose tools reward fast completion. Schools need tasks and routines that reward questioning, retrieval, revision, and judgment. Outsource your doing, not your thinking. The AI learning penalty isn't the inevitable price of using AI. It's the delayed cost of removing productive struggle while mistaking completion for learning. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.